Today on V8 Extra, we're right in the heart of the pit paddock for the Sucre Townsville 400. Our special guest is Jacques Villeneuve, former Indy 500 winner and World F1 champion, to discuss his return to V8 supercars, this time in a Pepsi Max Holden. Mark Winterbottom's been halfway around the world, and we'll get his report on the new circuit at Austin, Texas. And we'll lift the cover off all the latest news and pit lane chat. That's all ahead today on V8 Extra.
Yes, hello everybody, and welcome once again to V8 Extra. It's great to have your company today. We are back in Queensland, in the pit paddock in Townsville. It's always wonderful to be in Queensland at this time of the year. We've got short sleeves on. How good is this? We've broken away from down south. Races 14 and 15 of the V8 Supercars Championship, the Sucre Townsville 400. Cannot do this show without a mate. He's alongside, once again, multiple champion Mark Skaife, our fourth visit up here. It's a great event.
Hi Neil, hi everybody. It is. I mean, 4 years, I can't believe it. We're getting older, I reckon. 4 years of being up here.
No, don't remind me. Now, we've got a very special guest today, as you heard at the top of the show, a guy who's been a World Formula One champion, won the Indy 500. We've seen him here in a Champ car, we've seen him in an Indy car, we've seen him in Formula One, we've seen him in V8 Supercar. He's back this weekend. It's our pleasure to welcome Jacques Villeneuve. Nice to have you with us.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Hey, it's an amazing thing to have a world champion in a V8 Supercar, your second time in one of these vehicles, and I cannot think of a motor car more different than the things that you've driven before. They're heavy, you're sitting on the wrong side, the gear lever's in the wrong hand. What's it been like to blaze around back again in one of these cars?
It's a beast to tame. It's really a tough car to drive, and yeah, sitting on the right side of the car, using the left hand to shift, that's created a lot of problems for me, mostly with the braking and downshifting. But also the cars drive differently than anything I've driven before. And when I came 2 years ago at the Gold Coast, there were a bunch of internationals like me, and all you had to do was be quicker than the other internationals. So and that was fine, and you look good. But to be with on a proper race weekend with all the racers, it's very professional. The drivers are amazing. It's tough. It's tough. The learning curve is really, really steep.
And Jack, I mean, you've driven basically everything. I mean, the car's obviously a lot different, as you said, but Townsville's also a lot different to the Gold Coast in terms of the style of circuit. What's your first impressions?
Oh, it's a tough little track. It's busy, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, but there's no room for mistakes, and it makes it hard to get up to speed, you know, without any testing previously.
With a guy such as yourself, Jacques, who's done so much, you've achieved so much in motorsport, you must have a deep and abiding passion for racing to continue to be able to blaze around on a day like today.
I love racing. I'm happy behind the steering wheel. This is actually my honeymoon. I'm on my own without my wife, and I just got married, and I'm having my honeymoon with my race car. So
you're our pin-up. You're our pin-up. To be able to do that on your honeymoon, that's a good gig, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well done.
It's yeah, I'm happy behind the wheel. Definitely, I've always been since I started racing when I was 17, and the month that you're not racing, you wonder what's going on.
So what do you tell your wife? Do you just say, oh, look, just a weekend away, darling, you know, just a tough motor racing gig? What do you tell her? How do you get away with that?
Yeah, you know, oh, sorry, you know, how boring I have to go racing, and there's no one there, and you know, don't worry.
You could try the old line, look, I'm trying to make my way in this game. I want to see if I can take it as far as I can. Who knows where I could end up?
But it's funny you should say that, but after F1, you have to start from zero. You have to start from scratch, and it doesn't matter what you've won before. It'd be the same as you were just starting racing for the first time. So yes, people recognize you have image and so on, but there's still a little bit of snobbism on the fact that there's no way you'll be able to drive these kind of cars. So you start from scratch.
A serious side to the business always. What are the expectations for you at the end of 200 kilometres later on this afternoon? You've got a lot of work to do. It's going to be hot and physical and hard out there. What would you like to achieve?
I hope I won't be in too much pain. That's the, you know, it's going to, the cars are very hot. I'm not used to so much heat inside the car, and physically they're hard to drive. But this is more like a test session. We're still doing the seat yesterday in the middle of practice. So there's a lot that's been going on, and I'm using more in a way to, hopefully I'll follow some quick guys and figure a way to go faster.
Are you getting a lot of help from within the team and from the other drivers, or are you having to make your own way?
The team has been very helpful. It's a great bunch. They've been very helpful, very nice, and you know, looking at the data, and it's fun because in F1 I was telling the other guys what they should be doing, and I get here and I'm being told what to do, and that's great.
Well, Jack, it's a great pleasure to have you here, and we're looking forward to not only seeing Jack in action later on the weekend, but later in the year, the Armour All Gold Coast 600, we've got some big names coming, Scapey. We've seen some great guys coming in the past. Jack was here a couple of years ago, 2010. Nick Heidfeld's going to join us. Max Pappas is going to join us. Marco Andretti's grandpa, Mario, has been on the Gold Coast. Michael's been on the Gold Coast, so it completes the dynasty. We're looking forward to seeing some big names coming up. So if you're going to be in Queensland, down in the southeast corner of the state, and you want to see a great race with some big names, can't recommend the Gold Coast more highly. We're going to take a break on V8 Extra. Got a big show coming up, and stay with us after the break.
Today, I'm on a mission to find pit lane's most stylish driver. We've got the black's quite slimming, I hear. Is that why you've chosen this one?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I always got to try and keep up with the fashion.
Just take a look down at the legs. You know, do you run this sort of stubble look for fashion?
Absolutely, yeah. No, I pretend I'm a cyclist sometimes and run that, but shows off the scars on my legs as well, and chicks dig scars, that's what they tell me.
I was teammates with JC for a couple of years. He's pretty, you know, I guess good at looking in the mirror.
I think Russell takes care of the George Clooney area, you'd like to think. Nick Caruso, he tends to have some flash shoes, but I think that's the Italian in him.
I have these really cool Adidas orange Star Wars shoes at home, and I only wear them on special occasions.
It'd have to be Fabian. I think, you know, he's got the hair, he's got the style, he definitely works on it all.
You've been voted in a tie with Dean Fons Fiore as the most stylish guy in pit lane. How you feeling?
I guess it's better than most improved.
You can go and see Fonzie and, you know, have a battle between yourselves, maybe stand in front of the mirror, you know, and decide for yourself who is the most fashionable.
Oh, we'll high-five each other, at least we've won something already.
They don't call Dean Fiore the Fonz for nothing, do they? He's got it all going on, the pink shirts, the Prada sunglasses.
I'm really happy about that title. Like Fabian said, I think it's the only thing we've won all year, so I'm thumbs up to that.
Dean Fiore. Fashion and V8 supercar drivers, I don't think so. A lot of polyesters have died to make their uniforms in most cases when you look through their wardrobe, except for this bloke here who does have the Prada handbag. He breaks out on
Stop it.
Time for Big Pond Sport email. We've got a question here from Adam Blacktop. Wants to know how come in some of the pit stops you see problems with rattle guns and wheel nuts jamming and all the rest of it. Now, there's a bloke down in pit lane. He doesn't like to hang around with us. He likes to hide in the corner and do his own thing. Welcome to V8 Extra again, Larko.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. And it's a good question, Adam. Let me answer it. There was a couple of reasons. One is mechanical. The other is what we call finger trouble, where the team makes it blue. Here's our regulators and bottles, right? They're industrial nitrogen. Teams might get through a dozen of these on a weekend. And what they do is the ones that they use during practice, they discard and put fresh ones out here for the race. Sometimes if someone forgets to put a fresh one and or adjust this regulator to the right pressure, for the rattle gun, that will create a drama. But let's have a look at the race car itself. This is where it gets a little harder. Right, here's our control wheel. This is made of what's called forged aluminium. In underneath here, when we're out on the track, all of this stuff around here runs at about 100 to 200 degrees centigrade. The disc itself runs at about 1,000 in a brake. Now, the heat transfer that happens through this spindle, this is where your nut, this is your wheel nut screws on here, right? 1,000 degrees here, the heat transfer through here means that this grows at one rate, but because this is a forged aluminium wheel, this grows at double the rate that the steel does. So that expansion of the wheel means that this thing gets tighter as you get into the race. Now, out on the grid, they'll take their torque wrench out to double check it, do it at about 750 foot-pounds. You blokes can work out what that is in newtons. And worse than all of this is obviously when the wheel nut does become loose, and to stop that falling off, it's quite clever. On your little, there you go, there's your socket that goes onto your nut. You can see there's a little spigot in there. That pushes when they engage on this button here. And if you look, you can see these little catches here that stop the nut from unscrewing should it come loose. So very intelligent question, Adam. Much better than I get from the hostess, mate.
We've got ice cream headaches trying to work out Newton meters and all those values that you were spitting around there. Thanks for that, Larko. Big Pond Sport email updating the question there for Adam. We're going to take a break on the show. Coming up very shortly, Craig Lowndes. Up next, we've got Mark Winterbottom. Frosty's going to join us. We're right smack bang in the middle of the paddock. The Sucrage in Townsville 400. Stay with us.
We will never look back. silhouette that come a long way since that day. No, we would never look back at the faded silhouette.
Beautiful Townsville, gateway to the Great Barrier Reef, magnetic island just off to the east. 185,000 people here. Beautiful weather up here at this time of the year. Castle Hill, it's just alongside the racetrack. Now, my mate here, when he has his 3 minutes off every year and you hang around with him, he likes a crossword. So he'll flick around you and say, Brazilian butterfly, 7 letters, starts with a Z. Any clues? And I've never got a clue. So now I'm going to ask you a question. Why is it Castle Hill, not Castle Mountain?
That is a very good question. Can we take that offline? Can we do that later?
You don't know, do you?
I don't know.
It's the first time I've stumped him in ages. Because it needs to be 8 metres taller. It's 292 metres. If it was another 8 metres taller, it's Castle Mountain. If it eats its veggies, it'll grow up and become a mountain one day.
Please welcome
Time
Mark
to welcome our
Winterbottom.
next guest. He's been all around the universe in the last couple of weeks. Mark Winterbottom, nice to have you with us.
That's the most informative information I've heard.
Yeah. V8 Extra, where you learn stuff. The Thinking Man's Motorsport program. Mate, you've been off to Circuit of the Americas, Austin, Texas. We're looking forward to going there next year. And I was really thrilled to see the report you did for us on V8 Extra. He was a reporter who did an outstanding job, but the racetrack looks awesome.
It does. The racetrack is amazing. The elevation that they've not so much built into it, but the land that they've got there, the characteristic of it is it's got 130 foot from pit lane to turn 1, blind corners, fast corners, only 11 corners built, but it's going to be an awesome track. But everyone keeps asking me if I've got those boots that I walked in and bought at the shop, but $1,300. I don't know how many people saw the eye movement, but I was surprised that boots can cost you $1,300.
Have a look at the vision. You're out of control.
Well, when we got there, the guy said, yep, do what you want. And then another guy come in and said, no, 30 mile an hour is all you can do. So I did it once and then started doing that at the end.
Yeah, you had a lot of oversteer for 30 mile an hour there, Frosty. You also spent a bit of time at Disneyland. Cars Land has opened. You've had a cameo role in the movie Cars 2 here, and by all accounts, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Cars Land was fantastic and really cool rides, but there was probably 20 wide and 1,000 deep all day of people just charging into Cars Land. But it's such an important attraction, and everyone races to Cars Land, so it was really good fun.
Hey, mate, and what about here? I mean, you've had a good record in these sorts of circuits. It's a place that's obviously a very compact style of circuit. You're looking forward to this weekend?
I am. Yesterday was not good for me, but tyre quality and a few things are definitely going to change that today. But love the circuit, but I do think this is a danger round for all the players in the championship. 150 points for a win and 0 for a DNF. I think it can reward you, it can hurt you, and this one's going to be a tough one for championship. And come December, I'm sure someone will have a story about this weekend, and I hope it's a good one for FPR.
It's been a ripper season for you so far. You're just 11 points behind Will in the championship. You're third at the moment, but wins in Western Australia, wins in New Zealand, win at Phillip Island. You've been on fire.
Yeah, it's been great. The best win of the year was definitely New Zealand. That was exciting to hold on to the end and have Jamie Whincup, who's probably one of the most aggressive guys in the category, not being able to pass you. He pushed every fender to try and get past you, but couldn't. And New Zealand was such a great win. But obviously the future over there. I'm the last winner at Hamilton, which is a nice stat.
Yeah.
And who knows what the future holds there. But it was great to get that last win on that street circuit.
Fantastic.
Here's the point scenario at the moment. I just made mention of you're 11 points behind Will, but I mean it's super tight at the top there with 38 points between Jamie and Will, and we're now into that very busy second half of the championship, and you've got a good starting bank there. You've got a great position to play from.
Yeah, it's and also Lowndes, he wins Darwin and now he's a main player. He's a guy that's got nothing to lose. 247 points, he's absolutely nothing in this championship. So he hasn't got you this year, so that's good at Bathurst and Sandown, so it might hurt him a bit. But he's definitely a player as well. So it's game on. We've been told that I can race Will, which is fantastic as well. And it's a true fight for the championship. It's fantastic.
It's not too late for him to leave the commentary box and go back into a race car, by the way. I mean, it's a free country. You can do anything you like. You made mention of New Zealand before, Frosty. Great news at 1 o'clock Thursday this past week, because the announcement was made by V8 Supercars. We're going back to New Zealand, and a bloke who's got a great affinity with the racetrack at Pukekohe, where we'll be going, is down in the garage at Stone Brothers Racing. Ross Stone, this is fantastic news for the industry.
Yeah, it is. It's great, and especially a 5-year deal there, locked in. We can all get on with it now. I actually remember going to the first ever New Zealand Grand Prix at Pukekohe Won't tell you what year it was, but it was a while ago.
Yeah, just a couple of years ago, eh, Ross?
Hey, Ross, Pukekohe obviously has always presented really good racing. We've been going there since, what, the late 80s. We're going to make a few little changes to the circuit, obviously, to make sure that it's modernised and in good order. But, you know, you've got a good record there. Your cars have always been strong.
Yeah, our cars have always been strong there, but actually we've never ever won. The only time we ever won in New Zealand was in the modern V8 era, was at Hamilton. So we've got some unfinished business when we go there. And Russell Ingall was telling Shane yesterday that I always put a bit of extra pressure on those guys when they go there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, as you know, Ross, Scafey can be a bit rude on occasion. He just nudged me and said, tell Ross to do it in Australian for us.
I did not say that, Ross. That's not right.
Mate, we're looking forward to getting back there. Thanks for playing with us today, and we're looking forward to getting back to New Zealand, Pukekohe. Have a great run this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for that, and we're looking forward to going there too.
Good on you, mate. Ross Stone there from Stone Brothers Racing, and they've got 3 cars in the field this afternoon for races 14 this afternoon, race 15 tomorrow, a couple of 200k races. I'll spit it out eventually. Yeah, much easier for me to say. We're also looking forward, boys, to going to Abu Dhabi at the end of the year. Etihad, our international airline partner for V8 Supercars, put together some fantastic packages. Jump online, v8supercars.com.au, and of course we'll be joining Formula One over there as well. So pairing up V8 Supercar and Formula One is going to be a massive event. It's an extraordinary part of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Abu Dhabi's fantastic, and it's one of those places you take the family because you want to get away and enjoy the trip, but normally costs you a fortune because gold and diamonds are cheap there, so you normally come home quite sore, but
very true.
It's a good trip.
Go and concentrate on your race this afternoon, Frosty. Thanks for hanging out with us.
$2.5 grand for pole.
yeah, you need it to be able to spend it. Craig Lowndes coming up next. Take a break on V8 Extra. Back with more in a moment. This is V8 Extra. We're right in the heart of the paddock, the Sucragen Townsville 400. The pre-game show, we've got a whole lot of racing coming up this afternoon. We've got qualifying, a shootout and a 200k race. It's going to be a ripper weekend up here in the sunshine. Our special guest now, well, what more can I say? Welcome, Sir Craig.
Sir Craig, OAM. Craig Lowndes, OAM. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you. It was quite nice.
What's that, the OAM piece or the flight up?
Well,
now, can I explain, because this is actually quite funny.
This is a smash up now.
Craig gets an OAM, and all of a sudden, Neil picks up Sir Craig from Brisbane and flies you up here. What's going on?
Well, we've been talking about flying for quite a while, and I'm going through that process. And of course, you know, he thought, you know, better way to pick me up, come out of Sydney, get into Brisbane, pick me up, drive me, or fly me, should say, to obviously Townsville. I'm looking for this Learjet, and this Shell truck moved aside, and there was his little Cessna.
And what about the flight attendant? Was that all right? Or?
He was actually really good.
Oh, no, I tell you, it was the worst in-flight service I've ever had in any flight I've ever done in 40-odd years.
Now, I reckon Lowndesy's done some dangerous things over a period of time. Did you get out and kiss the ground? What did you do when you got here?
Come on, let's talk about car racing, you idiots. Now, listen, Lowndesy, extraordinary weekend for you because it's your 200th event start. 200th events. Let's get back to the focus. 200th event start. It's very impressive. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yeah, look, it's something that, you know, it's been nice to be around for this long to obviously rack up those numbers. And, of course, you know, as we go into the future, I think that, you know, V8 Supercars are trying to expand in the rounds. The younger generation or this next generation probably have more of an opportunity to do that. But, you know, it's nice, you know, with Scaife and a few others to be able to finally get to that milestone.
Now, Tassie, that hurt you. We were talking on the way. We had a bit of time to talk on the way up. And you were still lamenting the fact that being off the road down at the hairpin really hurt you. You're 4th in the championship at the moment, but you're not far away from the top end of town. But you're very competitive. You had a win in Darwin. You've become the 4th winner of the championship season, and you are in the game.
Well, we are. It's something that, you know, we had 4 hours to kill, so it wasn't too bad.
How's negative? How's Captain Negative?
Oh, no.
What's he going on about?
But we did. We actually talked about Tassie, and of course, you know, for me, it was one of those things that really, it has hurt me because we're 200 points away or drift of those 3 guys, and that's something you've got to be obviously right on their hammer because they're very fast, they're very quick, they're reliable, and of course, this weekend we know how competitive they're going to be.
Now, the thing is that you guys are really in a hell of a battle with with the boys from Ford Performance Racing at the moment, Team Vodafone versus FPR. And we've never seen such intensity between 2 teams and 4 drivers. And it's almost sort of within the teams as well, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. There's no doubt that, you know, you always want to beat your teammate and everything else. And you both guys were my teammates once before. And of course, you know, whenever you get into that car, the first rule is obviously to beat your teammate. But with Jamie and I, we've got to work close together because you're right. FPR are biting at our heels. You know, whenever we go well, they go well. They're winning races, we're winning races. And I think it looks fantastic for the sport. Yeah. And it's really proven. The crowd down here at the moment in Townsville is sensational.
Just quickly, we're nearly out of time, but this is a ripper little racetrack, isn't it? I went for a wander yesterday, watched you guys down at the last corner.
corner. It's a busy place. It's got a great atmosphere. It's taken on a personality in its very young life.
Well, it has it. It's a bit of a hybrid. It's sort of like turn 1, 2 and 3. It's sort of more of a street element, you know, concrete walls. You come out the back section, opens up, got a bit of grassed area verge. You can sort of attack a bit more than you'd like and get away with it. So, look, it's a great circuit, but quite challenging. 72 laps around here is going to be quite grueling.
Yeah, much easier in the commentary box for Buffhead and I. Now, we've got a really busy second half of the championship season. It winds up with the Sydney Telstra 500, and there's a bunch of endurance races. I want you to check out the website and try and pick out your favourite event. There's a whole lot of things that you should be attending because it is going to be an intense battle to see who's going to be the V8 Supercar champion for 2012. The other thing that, of course, is huge news this year, boys, as you well know, we're celebrating our 50th great race at Mount Panorama, which is going to be fantastic.
Now, can you grab our beer box?
Yes.
Because Coopers have done a commemorative 50-year Mount Panorama pack, and it's actually got Sir Craig.
It's actually the slab I
right
owe you.
in the middle. Is that the slab you owe me?
Yeah, or one or two.
You owe me a lot more than that. Now that's you there, Craig.
I
Do you
know.
like being in the middle, or?
Well, I'm just looking at the booth. That's Murph, Frosty.
Very good.
Actually,
Cooper's
that's Will. That's Will.
50 years of Bathurst. Fantastic.
Yeah, so Cooper's getting in behind the event with a commemorative beer, and Scafie, I'm sure you'll shout me and Lounsey one or two of those between now. And Bathurst, Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 is just a little over 3 months away. Boys, we're just about done for V8 Extra, but boy, have we got some stuff coming up this afternoon. Thank you very much for hanging out with us, Craig.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you also, Sir Mark. Actually, both of these blokes have got AOMs. I'm the only guy here who hasn't been recognised by the Queen. What a terrible shame that is. Coming up, Matty White's going to settle in and get us organised for the afternoon. We've got qualifying, we've got the shootout, we've got race number 14. This is the Sucridge and Townsville 400. Hope you've enjoyed V8 Extra.